What is up, you guys? This is All Day Any Day 1 on the PS4, and I'm going to be giving you another Assassin's Creed Odyssey video. And with this video I'm going to be giving you is an updated build video, mainly because of the mastery points or mastery levels. But the abilities and the gear is pretty much the same. This is for the Hunter build, so just in case you guys were wondering. And with the Hunter build, I do have a epic set as well. I have gear that's all epic, but the fact that they buffed legendary gear is the reason why I'm going to be using the legendary gear, because it's just a lot stronger. Now, we're going to go ahead and take a look at the gear. So you're going to be using the Artemis set, which you can earn in-game. You can either use the Artemis set, or you can actually go with the Odyssey set if you ended up buying that. Which one's better? That's really up to the player. The Odyssey set really allows you to pretty much have your adrenaline up at all times. In a sense, you basically have, you get 50% back rather than 15 or 25% adrenaline back. You get 50% back, so you basically get half of an adrenaline. And then with the Artemis set, instead of having 15% damage increase to your hunter abilities, it's going to increase your hunter abilities by 50%, which is a lot, and it definitely makes up for the fact that it used to be not as great as having a fully spec'd epic gear set to now being a lot better than most epic gear sets, in my opinion. I think it's just better than epic in general, just with that one ability. But anyways, with the Artemis hood, you get 35% headshot damage and 90% hunter damage, and then I put the 10% damage with all abilities, which you get from, you'll end up getting that from the Demigod set. Once you complete the whole set, you get that 10% increase in damage. And then for the Master Artemis gloves, I put the 5% crit chance, just because you can still hit crits on headshots, but you can also hit crits on body shots as well. And then the hunter damage is 19%, 35% adrenaline on headshot kill, which is going to be really nice to build up your adrenaline. And then on the belt, I put, or it has hunter damage and 21% damage with bows on distant targets. And then for the headshot damage, I just ended up putting headshot damage on it for more headshot damage, obviously. And then for the torso, it comes with hunter damage and 14% bow charging speed, which helps a lot. And then the crit damage is what I ended up putting on here, because headshots can crit and you can also hit crits with the body. And then for the Artemis legs, I ended up just putting the all arrows pierce shields, and you get that engraved from the Athenian war hero set. And then for the two perks, you get hunter damage and 14% damage with bow charge shot. Now for the bows that I would recommend would be the Vine bow, or the Odysseus bow, or even the Eudosis bow if you have the Eudosis bow. Now I only recommend the Eudosis bow if you don't have the Vine bow or Odysseus bow, because these two bows are the most damage dealing bows for hunter damage, or for hunter builds. You can have a legendary an epic build bow. I don't have an epic bow anymore because I always get rid of them. But a really good epic bow would be one that has the hunter damage, all damage, and then headshot damage and crit damage, or crit chance, or whatever engrave you decide to put on it. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the bows. Now for the weapons, I'm using two daggers because both these daggers have the right abilities that I want. I don't use them at all. I don't even melee enemies unless I have to, but I generally don't worry about meleeing them. I just run away and then shoot them. But for the weapons, it has hunter damage, adrenaline per hit, 6% all damage, 30% damage while full health. And you get that 30% damage while full health with the Nemean Lion Claw. And with the Nemean Lion Claw, you get that from the, well, you have to get that in the Helix store or the Focus vendor. But if you don't have the 30% damage while full health, you can always put something like extra, you do, 25% more damage to bosses and elites. That one helps a lot. And then, or you can put the cooldown reduction, which you get from Medusa. And then the other weapon, the other dagger, I have hunter damage, 6% all damage, 35% crit damage, and 100% damage, but health is capped at 25%. Now, other really good weapons to use are the Harpy of Perseus. If you have this already, this is going to be really useful, because you get hunter damage, 35% crit damage, 25% cooldown duration for all damage, or all abilities, and then I ended up putting the Greek Hello engrave on it, which gives me 15% all damage but 15% loss of health. But it's still a really good weapon to use. And then the other one would be the Atlantean Blade. So with the Atlantean Blade, it gives you hunter damage, 35% crit damage, 30% armor penetration, and 100% damage, but your health is kept at 100%. So if you don't have the right daggers, if you don't have the right, not daggers, but the right epic gear, then you can always use those two legendaries, and you'll generally do more damage. And if you want, you can always use Pandora's Copus, but the fact that you're not going to be using a tamed ability kind of just doesn't really make sense too much. Now with the abilities, I got all of the passives. So I have Gear Master, Weapons Master, Shadow Assassin, Stealth Master, Archery Master, and Sixth Sense, all maxed out. Having all the passives generally is going to be the best idea, in my opinion. The charge shot you don't need, you're not going to be using that. You don't need critical assassination because you're not going to worry about going around assassinating enemies. You don't need to have the, what is this, the revelation, because revelation just helps you find items or chests and stuff. Don't need Beastmaster and don't need Arrow Master. Now for the abilities, I got Multi-Shot, Devastating Shot, Archery Master, and Ghost Arrows of Artemis all maxed out. And I had to put one ability point into Overpower Bow Strike just so I can unlock the Ghost Arrow of Artemis. Put 1 point into Overpower Attacks, and then put 3 points into Battlecry of Ares. And then for the fire one, I ended up getting this one instead of poison because it seems like fire damage doesn't just have a higher take damage than poison, which obviously it does, but it seems to increase your base damage as well. I'm not sure if it's supposed to, but because it doesn't say anything about increasing your actual base hit, your initial hit, but it seems to always increase the initial hit. And then I have Second Wind. Obviously with Second Wind, you're gonna want to use it anytime you get hit or have a status effect on you, but generally if you do get hit by a heavy attack, it's a one shot, so you got to make sure you really keep yourself at distance. This is just like the oh crap moment. And then the slow time ability, I would highly recommend everyone using slow time no matter what build you're using, because slow time just increases your survivability and damage output by like 10 times more, especially due to the fact that it reduces increases the duration of your Battlecry of Ares. Now for my mastery levels, I did not put anything into hunter damage because you already have, once you're at 35,000 hunter damage or higher, because I'm already at 36,000 something, 36,032 hunter damage. So once you're around there, you're not going to need to worry about it. Also, this is basically a level 70 build, so once you're level 70, you can generally go with this. You don't have to be level 70, I guess, but you're gonna need to be 70 with all the ability locations found, so that way you can get all these different mastery perks. But I did put 10 out of 20 on headshot damage, 10 out of 20 on bow charging speed, and then 10 out of 20 on hunter abilities. I did not put anything into the warrior damage. And then on the assassin damage, I put 10 out of 20 for damage while at full health, and 5 out of 20 for adrenaline per hit, and then 10 out of 20 on damage on elites and bosses. Now, later on, when you do start getting more points, once you get to level 70 and you start getting more XP and you start leveling up again over and over and over, and you get more ability points, the ones I would recommend going for would be things like cooldown duration, damage when attacking from behind, the maybe chance to deal with assassin damage, because you still have a lot of assassin damage, but I probably wouldn't worry about it too much for now, at least at all. But for sure, cooldown duration, attacking enemies from behind, adrenaline per crit is okay, chance to ignore half damage, if you can get that 20 out of 20, that would be really useful as well. Crit damage while full health and crit chance while at full health also will help a lot. And then for the warrior damage side, you can get the one where you increase health and armor, melee resistance or armor penetration, or even the damage restored as health is going to be really useful as well. And then for the hunter, obviously you're going to want to end up putting points into hunter damage later on. Crit chance, crit damage, and then damage with bow charge shot, damage with bows on distant targets, and adrenaline per headshot kill. Or Adrenaline per headshot kill, consume special arrows, and damage while bows while hidden. You don't need, but you can get it later. Like that would be those are be things under the radar, but not things you would need to worry about end up getting. And then something else for your abilities, I think, would be really good. Would be devastating shot, the what is it called? The multi-shot. Multi-shot and devastating shot would be two really good ones to end up getting also later on. Like the last two perks, last two ability points, I would end up going for. But yeah, that's pretty much it with this hunter build. If this helped you out at all, go and leave a like, comment, subscribe. If you have any questions or concerns, let me know down in the comment section. I am also going to show some gameplay of this build as well. As you can see, when you watch this, you're gonna notice how much of a difference it is in damage. And yeah, that's pretty much it. This is all day 1 on the PS4. Have a good day, good night, and peace.
Great timing, Eagle Bearer. We're ready to advance on Athenian borders, and Sparta could use a warrior like you on our side. Interested in turning the tides of war in our favor?
No more joking.
You've got my sword, Spartan.
Good. We'll need all the iron we can get.
A bad day for Athens!